Hey, welcome to another episode of Enta Asks, where we tell epic stories about epic people in the businesses you want to work with.
So click below so you don't miss another episode, or if you want to be on the show, just check the link below. Hi, I'm Adam Colazetti.
And I'm Caitlin Bullock.
And this is Enta Asks.
And today we have with us Chad Larson, who's the Director of Wealth Management and Portfolio Manager, and Sue Derlago, who is the Vice President and Senior Financial Planner from Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. Did I say that right?
Yeah, it's a mouthful.
That's okay. Canaccord Genuity Wealth Management. Got it. Okay, so thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Today, what we wanted to get into, because if you saw our last episode, we talked a lot about your differentiator and how you don't even bring papers to the first meeting. But what we're getting into today, and is really impressive, is the whole diversity piece, like within your team, and as well, I think just in general in this area has been historically male-dominated discussions around financial planning for families. Is that
sure?
Correct?
I guess I'll lead in, and I'll make a smattering of comments, so to speak. And,
don't worry, we can cut them out.
Great. At the onset, we're a team, a multifamily office, working within Canaccord Genuity. We operate as a team, as MLD Wealth Management, and of our 9 staff, partners, and stakeholders, we're 2/3 female.
2/3.
2/3. Majority.
Woo!
Yep.
Love it.
I would tell you that from both my upbringing, our firm's cultures, and the cultures within our team, is that there really are no boundaries within and around gender, and I think it's definitely very topical these days. But it's never really been something that we've been cognizant of to go that direction. We've found the best fit and the best people within our group, and by default or design, I would say by more default, we've found the best people for their roles that are predominantly female. And that really leads into, aside from our firm culture, but in this historically male-dominated industry, historically the relationships have been dominated where for years it would be rare that I would ever even meet the spouse of a client, and it would be a hunter-gatherer, very old school dichotomy of how we approach money. And really more so, I'll tell you that even within the family unit, the yin, the yang, different needs, different concerns, different risk tolerances, different, the goals are always in line, but how we got there usually ended up being different within that family dynamic. And, it's now table stakes and it's mandatory, whereby we do engage with all members within the family unit. And it's created fantastic results, again, from how the clients feel about what they do. The firm has been, I think, cutting edge and leading within that regard. I did chair a committee. We have a national program in and around the mentorship of female business leadership, of which, I had the absolute pleasure of working direct with a phenomenal female entrepreneur based out of Ontario, and just enjoyed working that. So we have multiple platforms and programs within the firm to encourage that diversity, encourage that, because I'll tell you, aside from gender diversity, there's geographic diversity, and it's something that Canaccord Genuity does incredibly well and actually attracted us to joining the firm. As we're a global firm. We've got offices in every corner of the world in major economic centers, and that perspective to get past some of our geographic biases have allowed our clients to be positioned and take advantage of ever-changing economies, sectors, industries that are now really shaping the world. Like the bricks and mortar economy has changed. There's technology and there's life sciences. And the world has changed so fast and continues to do, and that's a high priority for us to be outside of our comfort zone and be in front of where things are going.
I love that, and that's very close to home for us as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're business partners, and that diverse opinion and that ability to see things from different sides and even engage clients, because different clients will respond to us differently depending on their background and everything?
I think, I don't know, again, modern times, I don't think it's maybe apropos to say men and women are different, but we do have different lenses in which we approach things. And I've never seen that more, even in my own, so here's a share from me. When I tricked Sue to becoming my partner, to do financial planning and round out some of those concerns clients had about, did they have enough money? When she started her first day, the first person in her office, sheepishly was myself, and asked her if she would do a plan for me and my wife. Here I am, accoladed and awarded portfolio manager. I knew how to manage money. I didn't know how to manage wealth, and those couldn't be two different things. And now, my wife's engagement into our process has inspired a lot of confidence and given me the tools to point myself in a direction that I feel comfortable with for all members of my family. And that was really kind of when I went hook, line, and sinker. So I finally had a reason and a why, and the how was just, those are just things.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Do you find that there's a new perspective when you can bring like multiple genders to the table to have those conversations?
Absolutely. And, Chad and I joke about this together, but we often ask different questions, right, of our clients. And that is a good thing in that we're making sure we're covering all areas that are important. I would say when I look at our practice now, we do work with a number of high earning professionals, business owners, and now a big number of those are women. And we didn't used to see that in the past. So needs are changing. And as a result, we've structured our team to be able to work with that as well. The last comment that I'll make is, often in every relationship, we all take on certain, roles. My husband jokes that if something were ever happen to me, he wouldn't actually know where the money is, right? But that being said, we, even though there's often one spouse that wants to play the more involved, maybe day-to-day role in the relationship they may have with us as their wealth managers, we absolutely insist that we do get to meet with both spouses so that, hey, at the end of the day, if something were to ever happen, there's a comfort level, an understanding, they could pick up the phone and know who's actually overseeing, right? All of these moving parts for their family.
One of those things, and we haven't done a segment, we might just on how we approach portfolio construction or investment landscape. But my background academically was both in economics and in psychology, and I'll tell you on a day-to-day basis, it's psychology first. Over time, business cycles play out and economics play into it, but fear, greed, drive the market on a day-to-day basis. And I will tell you, how you feel about your investments or your investment plan is as important as what it is inside of it. And really bridging that gap with having both partners, male, female, male, male, female, female, really integrates to their personality type, to their gender type, to their views, politically, spiritually, all of these things come into play, and it's important that we're sensitive to it, and we don't, allow the tail to wag the dog, so to speak. Sometimes our job is not telling people what they want to hear, but need to hear, and that I think is some of the best advice sometimes people can receive.
Right? Yeah, you don't need a yes man handling your
wealth
management. But what I really liked, and genders aside, is that every person has different risk profiles. And like my husband is way more risk intolerant than I am, right? And I'm like you, I manage most of that stuff, and I think it scares him because he doesn't have the visibility into it.
Yeah.
So I love that you take that spouse and that partner who's invested just as much. And bring them into the discussion to educate them and to have that connection, because, God forbid, if something ever happened to me, he wouldn't necessarily know who to reach out to. And how would he feel like, here's this stranger coming in that I have no trust with? Right? That's
Well,
really amazing.
it plays into it, and I don't want to give maybe too much insight into future segments, but again, like how you feel about it is going to impact your behaviors. And during periods of financial stress or volatility in the marketplace, if you haven't caught up to speed and understood the plan and understood the process or the mechanisms and reasoning that went into that and how that plays into your own financial situation, that's going to cause you to potentially make the wrong moves at the wrong times, because everything in the short term is behaviorally driven, not financially driven.
Yeah, Oh, I love that.
You know, and I loved when we first met you guys, you know, we talked about, you know, behaviors and gender diversity, but Sue, you told us you were an avid outdoors person.
Yes, I
Right.
love to be outside. I spend a lot of time out there.
And Chad, I think, what did you say when I asked you if you were an outdoors person?
I'm more of a lounge cat. I'm more of a house cat. You know, Sue and I both spend time in have second homes in Fernie down in the mountains,
Right.
and spend a lot of time skiing. And Sue's really good on the mountain. I'm really good at après ski.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
We all have our
Yeah.
strengths, so we got the total mountain covered.
But I think you can take those experiences and those points of views, and you know, you guys have told us lots about how you interact with the community and how you give back
Sure.
and how you choose charities and those types of things.
Sure, I can speak to that. You know, I was very fortunate early on in my career, both financially and by the people who I'd surrounded myself with, and I was always really impressed and gravitated to those that could think past themselves. And you know, there was definitely a sense of guilt very early on that life had afforded me a lot of opportunities for my family and to help, and I had an obligation to give back and to be able to help others. And so I wanted to get in front of it. A lot of it was inbound. A lot of it because of our clients. I found, you know, we were as a team writing checks constantly. We were supporting, you know, every hockey team, every soccer team, every Girl Guides cookie drive. I really wanted to make a more meaningful impact. So a number of years ago, the partners of the firm created a foundation whereby we can support, you know, community involvements and support things near and dear to our heart with a little bit more impact or laser focus, and allowed us, you know, also to deflect some of the, you know, the endless inbound of where we could, you know, be all things to everyone, and we can be more things to a select group. So, you know, that involvement, both, you know, financial support and really some of the engagement into the community. You know, I'll talk about two things, and you know, I'd say we don't brag about ourselves much, but we would brag about, you know, some of the impacts we've had into the community. So for years, you know, every release of a new Disney Star Wars film, you know, we had rented out the Eau Claire Theater and would bring, you know, 500 to 700 guests. A third of that, which would have been through Kids Cancer Care, the Ronald McDonald's House, and Sick Kids Foundation, giving other families opportunities to, you know, come together over the holidays. And we'd bring in all the actors, and it was a ton of fun. You know, that's something I'm very proud of, that we've been consistently involved with. A lot of the kid initiatives. Kids and arts is really what would dominate our giving efforts, and call it secondary or tertiary to that would be something that we just implemented recently, and this was, you know, pre-pandemic. You know, we had looked at, you know, how we give back to our clients. We're always investing in our people and our process and our at being better, but you know, we used to entertain clients once a year, you know, and do a big stampede party or a big event, and both the demography and the geography of the people that we deal with has become more wide across Canada. Is we wanted to do something that actually had more impact, and Sue had come to me, and you know, we always download and kind of talk high level about what are the concerns that clients are having, and you know, Sue can talk about, you know, one of the bigger concerns clients would have as they transitioned into what we call a work optional lifestyle or conventional retirement. You know, retirement is not a four-letter word, but it feels like that. But one of those major concerns was, what do our benefits look like? What is our health benefits going to be as I transition? And so we made a partnership with Teladoc, which is the world's leading telemedicine provider, to provide what we call internally as a joint venture, MLD care. And so we provide a suite of tele and electronic healthcare benefits for our private families that both inclusive of you as our client, but also in a east-west strategy as well as north-south, meaning both of our, if it was a husband and spouse, it would also include north-south, meaning their children and their dependents, as well as their mother-in-law, father-in-law, their mother-in-law, father-in-law, and creating a wider net, because one of those things that can quickly derail a financial plan is an unexpected health outcome, and especially as a lot of us, you know, are starting to have aging parents. This is becoming quite a concern, so we wanted to give back both to community and to our clients and create platforms that had positive benefits.
So you spoke a lot about, process and, even the way you speak to giving back to the community and, that program. It's all very process based. It's very systematic.
Yeah.
It's done very effectively. It's done very efficiently. And I think, next episode, you guys are going to walk us through exactly what some of your processes might be if we were to come in and meet you guys, and how would that work? How would you reach out to our spouse, and how would you kind of take us on the journey a little bit? So stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to go on a little journey with Chad and Sue. And if you want to get a hold of Chad or Sue, it's pretty easy. You just head to their website, mywealthmanagement.ca. The first button there, you can click on that and you can book a introductory meeting with a financial planner. See you next time.
See you next time.
I hope you enjoyed the episode. Remember, if you know somebody that might want to be on Enta Ask, just click the link below.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode.